new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire, the no-show. Who set you back because they didn't show up on day one, or day two, or ever again. And now your product launch is delayed because you're talking to alien abduction podcasters to track them down. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can help make sure your next hire sticks. In fact, businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
You're in your apartment alone. Then you hear something. You think, was it just the storm? You realize you're not alone. Your living room is not safe with Unhinged, the new immersive game experience brought to you by Netflix. To make it out alive, you must answer the phone. The question is, when your phone rings, will you answer? Tap the banner to play Unhinged now, only on Netflix.
This is the Weekend Check-In from the Modern Taoist with Kip Man. Join the absolutely free Modern Taoist community on Patreon at patreon.com/themoderntaoist. And now, Kit Man.
Well, hello and welcome to the Weekend Check-In. My name is Kit Man. And we got all kinds of stuff going on lately. You can follow us, like she said, over on the Patreon page. Go to the website, daoananda.org, daoananda.org, or .com. And if you are interested in private Taoist guidance, we've made that available, and a few people have taken advantage of that, and I hope everyone that is participating in that so far is getting something out of it. I'm sure if you weren't, you would let me know. But I think it's, I know that I'm getting a lot out of it because I enjoy, it's not quite one-on-one, but it is. And I enjoy that part of it. I want to spend a few minutes with you talking about something that happened this week and that I found myself wrestling with. And not because it's particularly profound, but because I suspect all of us at some point have faced some version of this. And it may not be specific to this because I'm sure not everyone that listens is, online is, having some sort of performance or a creative endeavor. But I'm sure all of us have experienced something in the realm of what happened. Several of you reached out to tell me that another account had apparently taken one of my podcast episodes and run it through AI and recreated it in another voice, and then used that to create multiple blog posts of my little talk. And you guys were kind enough to let me know about it, and I knew that you were that it was cool that you were looking out for me, and I genuinely appreciate that. And when I first heard it, I had a very, very human reaction. I was not thrilled. It irritated me, and I did not like it at all. And there was a part of me that thought, "Hey, that's my work. Those are my words. What are we doing here?" Now, before we start handing out Taoist report cards here, let me say something that I think it's important. Practicing Taoism does not mean we stop having human emotions. It doesn't mean we become so detached that nothing ever bothers us. I still get frustrated. I still get disappointed. I still have moments where my ego raises its hand and says, "Hold on a second there." But the practice is not about eliminating those moments. The practice begins when those moments arrive. So I sat with it for a little while, and eventually another question found its way into my mind, and that question is, was I trying to protect something, or was I trying to possess it? Now, there's things in life that deserve our protection. In fact, some things require our protection. We protect our children when they're young because they're not capable of protecting themselves. We protect our homes because they shelter us and the people we love. We protect our health because when you neglect your health, there are consequences. We protect our relationships. There's nothing wrong with protecting what matters. But somewhere along the way, protection sometimes becomes possession. And instead of caring for something, we begin believing that the word belong is a part of the equation, that it belongs to us. And the moment that happens, the moment you believe something belongs to you, another word pops up, and that word is fear. Because you are afraid of losing it. You become afraid someone else will take it, afraid someone will change it. The object or the person or whatever didn't change, but our relationship with it changed when we brought in that word belong. And I think parents feel this better than almost anybody. When your kids are small, they genuinely need your protection. They need your guidance and boundaries and encouragement, a safe place to be. But if we're not careful, we stop protecting them and we begin trying to possess them. We begin expecting them to become people we imagined they should be instead of the people they have become. We mistake love for ownership, and then we're very confused when they make choices that we don't think they should make. Same thing happens in a marriage. It's very healthy to protect the marriage. It's healthy to invest in the other person, to care for them, to be faithful to them, to communicate honestly, and get through the difficult times. But sometimes we cross a line when we begin believing another person's thoughts and feelings and happiness belong to us. And then love becomes control, and control always creates expectation, and expectation creates suffering. It happens with your career, with money, with reputations, and it happens with ideas. So as I continued thinking about the podcast, I realized something that was both very uncomfortable and strangely freeing. And that is the ideas, and this is not the surprise part, because I know this, the ideas are not mine. I've certainly lived them. I'm speaking to you from experience with them. I've tested them. I've struggled with them. I've spent years trying to understand them. But I certainly did not invent Taoism. I did not invent stillness. I didn't invent humility or patience or acceptance. Thousands of years before I was born, countless people devoted their lives to understanding these things. And even my own understanding didn't appear out of nowhere. I was shaped by books and teachers and failures, experiences. My perspective is unique because my life is unique. But the wisdom does not belong to me. That doesn't mean someone has the right to copy my work. Those are different conversations. Those are ethical questions. Those are legal questions. And there are boundaries that I believe need to be respected. And I thank you guys for pointing them out. And I've had conversations with podcast providers that are hosting this podcast and with the blog platform Substack. And those people will be dealt with. It's out of my hands now. But those questions aren't the ones that interested me this week. The question that interested me was, how much of my peace was I willing to surrender over something that had A, already happened, and B, I cannot control? And every time I replay that situation in my head, or any situation for that matter, if I become angry about someone else's choices, if I imagine arguments that I'll never have, I'm spending my own peace on something that has nothing to do with me. Taoism has a very, very interesting way of asking us to return to what is actually ours. My actions are mine. My integrity is mine. My willingness to continue creating this podcast and to teach other people, that willingness is mine. But my response to this situation is also mine. Someone else's behavior has nothing to do with me and is not mine. I can choose to protect my work. That's a practical decision. There's nothing un-Taoist about practical decisions. But I don't need to possess it. I don't want my identity to become so tangled up in what I've created that I lose sight of why I created it in the first place. I started doing this podcast because I wanted Taoism to become approachable. I wanted people to understand how it can help with our modern issues. I wanted to have honest conversations about ordinary life. I wanted people to feel like they had someone walking next to them instead of someone preaching at them. And none of that changes. If anything, it reminds me where my attention belongs. Not on yesterday's episode. It belongs in the episode I'm doing right now, talking to you right this minute. And that's true for everybody. We spend an incredible amount of energy trying to hold on to things that were only ever just passing by. We cling to images of ourselves, relationships, careers, a version of success, an expectation of how our life should have unfolded. And we squeeze tighter and tighter and tighter because we're afraid we'll lose what matters, because we have decided that these things belong to us. Maybe peace isn't found by caring less. Maybe it's found by caring without expectations. So this weekend, I hope you'll spend a little time asking yourself a simple question, and this is your practice for the weekend. Take 10 minutes today, tomorrow, Sunday, every day for that matter, and ask yourself, is there something in my life that I'm trying to protect, or has that protection quietly become possession? One of those comes from responsibility. The other comes from fear. I know it's a little different episode this weekend, and we'll get back to normal next weekend check-in. But in a way, this is a check-in for you. Because we all need to take a step back sometimes and remember the difference between protecting something and possessing it. And I thank you for spending time with me. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Those of you that contact me, those of you that don't, those of you that listen to this podcast 3 or 4 times in a week, over and over, you're the best. I hope you have a peaceful week ahead. And our next big episode comes out, of course, as always, Tuesday morning at 5 a.m. Pacific time. If you're interested in further information, go to daoananda.org or .com. That's DAOANANDA.org or .com. Or find us over on the Patreon page. It's patreon.com/themoderntaoist.
Thanks for joining this weekend check-in from The Modern Taoist with Kip Man. Like, follow, and subscribe on this platform for new episodes every Tuesday. And join the free Patreon community at patreon.com/themoderntaoist or visit us online at daoananda.com.